Today we will be looking at the expectations that we have for the next week and specifically for tomorrow being the 21st of October 2024. As always, before we start, if you're liking the content of these videos, please like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and click on the notification icon. Let us now get back to the monthly chart. So if we are looking at the monthly chart, the new high on the monthly chart is at the 592726 area. If we are getting above this, I am still expecting the price to come and hit this monthly wedge on the top. And then we will see if the price is able to break out of this, come to the 6002 areas, break out of there, maybe create another base there, and then we will see if the price is trying to go up farther higher. At this point of time, this 5927 area is the biggest resistance that we have at this point. We have to get above this, and then we will see if we are trying to get to the 5997 to the 6000 area. Talking about support on the monthly chart, this 5830 is one of the primary supports that we have on the monthly chart, which is the high of the prior month. Even after that, between 5814 to the 5805 area, we will find support. And if we are breaking this down, the next support on the monthly chart will be at the 5728 area, which happens to be the low of this particular month. So apart from that, there are no other support resistance areas that we have on the monthly chart. The monthly chart is still bullish. And I am still looking at for the price to keep going on the upside based on the monthly chart. So having said that, let us now go and take a look at the weekly chart. Now looking at the weekly chart, we had the weekly wedge at the 5930 area. We did not go and hit that weekly wedge, and we pulled back down till the 590706 area. And currently, if we are looking at this particular weekly bar last week, then the midpoint of the week is at 5888 area. It may find another support here. The next support on the weekly chart will be between 5868 to the 5859 area. And after that, we have the 5832 to the 23 area as the next support on the weekly chart. And if we are breaking down this area, there's a big possibility that we will come down to the 5803 to the 5799 area. And that is exactly where we have this weekly support of the trend line. And that will be somewhere at 5808 area. So this will be the another support on the weekly chart. And we will mark it as the weekly trend line support. Now looking at the weekly ATR, we ended the last week's weekly ATR at around 111 points. So if the price wants to do 111 points from this particular close of last week, it will take us to the 6017 to the 6018 area, which can be the weekly ATR target as well once we get above and hold above this particular wedge line. Also on the weekly chart, since we have broken out of this particular wedge and we have got a follow through even after that, this 5850 area will continue to be a support as well, which can be a double bottom with this particular week's low, as well as will be the trend line support of this particular wedge line breakout at this point of time. So on the weekly chart, we do have a longer wick compared to what we had last week. So we will have to see if the bears are able to bring the price down, if they are able to get the price down below 5900. And we are able to break down this midpoint of last week as well, then this 5868 to the 5861 area will be the first target for the bears on this weekly chart. Below that, we will see the 5850 area, and then we can come down to through the subsequent levels. However, this will be a major support in this area again, followed by the 5850. Last week, we had multiple attempts to break down this area, but that failed. So if the price comes back down here again, we will have to see how the price is reacting, if it's bouncing back from here, or it wants to break it down and come down to these areas at the bottom. So those are all the support and resistance areas that we have on the weekly chart. Let us now move on to the daily chart. Now, before we move on, the read-only links to all these charts will be mentioned in the description below. Along with that, you will also find the link to our free Discord server as well as the Facebook page, and you are very welcome to join there. So looking at the daily chart, as we had expected, we did come up to this wedge line on Thursday around the 5924 area, and we failed there and we created a pullback. But if you notice, the pullback failed to create a bearish bar here. On Friday, we did come below the open of Thursday, but then pushed back up and we closed around the 5907 area, the 5915 area being the high of this. Now, if we are doing a leg count from here, this was the first leg up. We had the second leg up. We had the pullback, and now we have the third leg up. And at this point of time, we have an inside bar. So as soon as we get above this particular inside bar, the 5916 area, we will actually start going into this fourth leg on this daily chart. Now, we will have to see if the fourth leg leg is able to get out of this 5927 to the 5935 area. The 5927 is currently the all-time high, and above that we have the wedge line resistance at the 5936 area. So our primary resistance area here will be the 5933 to the 5936 area, and if we are getting above this 5936 area, and if we are expecting a 1:1 of this particular pullback to the upside, we will be able to see that the price will be coming somewhere at the 5980 area, and we will mark that as a measured move target on the daily chart. Now, at this point of time, it may also be the case that the bulls will not be able to get above this, and we will start coming down. And the first target of the bears may be again this double bottom area at 5850. Now, if we are looking at these two trend lines that we had, this was the bottom trend line and this was the upper trend line. So these two trend lines on the bottom and the top was creating an expanding triangle. We broke out of the expanding triangle. We got a follow through. We got a pullback, and then the price has started going up again. But right now, this 5914 to the 15 area, we need price to go above that and hold the price there in order to say that the price is able to move up to the 5927 to the 35 area. So that is one move that I would like to see first when the market opens for this week. I will wait to see that if we are getting above this and holding above this particular area, then there will be a possibility that we can keep going to the upside. We can do some trading ranges in this particular area and then move up to the 5955 to the 60 areas once again to the upside. Now, if the bears become suddenly strong, I would like to see them bring the price down below this particular trend line. If the price is below this particular trend line, we may actually come to this 5797 area at some point of time, because that will be somewhere near the center of this particular expanding triangle that we had. And then we will see if we are bouncing from there or if we are breaking it down and trying to come down to the lower support trend line of this particular expanding triangle. But as of this point, this is a single bearish bar, so the market is still bullish. We did not have any follow through after this bearish bar, and the market has continued to move up higher. So if we are trying to get a measured move target on the upside, the first measured move target on the upside will be somewhere close to the top of this particular bearish bar that we had. I'm actually looking for a measured move of this particular inside candle's body and the body of this particular candle, which was a follow through after the inside bar. That top has already been reached by the bulls at this point of time. So the bulls may again try to break it out. But if this keeps on acting as an area of resistance, there is a possibility that the price will break down this 5906 once again after hitting the 5915 and then keep coming down to the 5888 levels, breaking down of which we can get to the subsequent levels on the downside. Now, the ATR on the daily chart was around 47 points again. So if the price wants to come up 50 points from there, or say 47 points from there, we will be somewhere in the 5950 to the 5954 area. And we will mark that as the daily ATR target at this point of time. So this can be the daily ATR target. However, if we get above this, we will have this measured move target on the upside, which may not happen in one day, but in a couple of days, we can easily get there and then break out of that and keep moving to the upside. On the downside, this 5893 to the 5888 area will be the primary support on the daily chart. Below that, we can come down to the 5872 to the 67 area. And if you notice, these are also coinciding with our weekly chart on the higher time frame. So these will become very strong support areas. And below this, we can come down to the 5854 to the 5846 area once again. If we are breaking this down and if we are creating a strong bearish bar here, that can actually work as the second entry short, and we will see if the price is continuing to come down after that. The price may actually come to these levels as well at the 5835 to the 5830 area, and then we will see if we are coming and hitting this daily EMA, and if we are breaking down the EMA, or we are going to get another bounce from here at this point of time. However, as of now, looking at the daily chart, this is just a pullback. We are very high up, but this is working just as a pullback. And as the price keeps moving on this 591314 area, there is a good possibility that we will keep going up to the top. If you have noticed, after this double bottom has happened, this was the first entry long, and now we are having the second entry long above this. But all these three bars has been moving sideways. So now we will have to see if the stop orders get activated above this and we are holding this level and we are breaking out of of this, then there is a possibility that we will reach the levels on the higher side. Now, if we are trying to be a little bit aggressive at this point of time, which I do not think is a very good idea considering how far up we have come up in a stretch, the 1:1 of this first leg up will bring us to the 6002 area, which again matches with the 5997 to the 6000 area that we had on the monthly chart, and this will actually finish the monthly wedge in this area. And once we get above this daily wedge resistance, this will be our next area of target, and above that we can come up to the 5981 area. Although there will be some more generic areas of support and resistance that we may have in between these areas. So we will mark them as we go on into the lower time frames. The last observation that I have on the daily chart is this particular bearish bar is actually a mother bar at this point of time. If you see, we went above the 11% extension, got rejected, came below the 11% extension and came down almost 50% of this particular bar. But there we found support in the lower 1/3 of this particular bar, and we have moved back up again, but we have created a double top right here with this particular high. And now we have to see that we are breaking out of this. We are breaking out of the 11% and the 21% extensions on the upside, and then we are getting to this particular level, which will complete the 50% extension of this mother bar on the upside, which is at 5948, and then we will come to this 1:1 target of this particular mother bar to the upside, which happens to be in the 81 to the 84 area. So these are all the major support and resistance areas that we have on the daily chart. Now let us go and take a look at the intraday 4-hour chart. Now let us take a look at the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, after this new low got created right here, we had the first leg up, we came down, we pulled back, we had the second leg up here, and then we had another pullback to the 4-hour EMA. We bounced from the 4-hour EMA, and after that we did the first leg up, we came down, and we have done the second leg up. Now if you see what is happening after the second leg up is that we are at this 5906 area, but we have not been able to create a strong bar above this. So we are in a sideways movement at this point of time, and if we are trying to get the trading range, this is the initial trading range that we have between 5916 and the 5888 area. So at this point of time, we are still waiting for the second leg on the 4-hour chart, which will happen as soon as we get below the 5899 area. If you see that the top of this candle, this particular 4-hour candle has actually trapped the bulls here, but we do not have a very good bearish body as of yet in order to say that the price will be coming down further to the EMA once again. But if the bulls are strong enough and they want to do a 1:1 of this particular move to the upside, the first target will be somewhere in the 5938 to the 5940 area here. This whole area here between 5926 and 5915 or 16 will continue to be a sell zone. We need to see that we are getting above this, and then we may actually create another wedge here, which may be somewhere in the 5933 area. We need to see that we are getting above this 5933 area. We are holding it, and then we can come up and try to touch this particular channel trend line at the bottom once again. But based on the channel logic, we had a high on the channel, we broke out of the channel, and we have created a new extreme. Now we will have to see whether we are going to get this second leg down based on the fact that these bullish bars are not very strong here, and we did not get two consecutive bullish bars after this bounce from the EMA even for once at this point of time. So if this 5899.25 area, if this is breaking down and we are starting the next leg down on this 4-hour chart, this can also bring the price down, and we can get 1:1 of the trading range to the downside, which will bring us to the 5859 or the 5860 areas again. And I will have a line marked there, and we will mark this line as the MM of the TR. So when we come back tomorrow morning, we will have to see where the price is at this point of time, whether overnight we have already got this move down below this 5899 and we are trying to break down the 4-hour EMA, or if we have two good bars below the 4-hour EMA, the price may actually pull back to the 4-hour EMA and then start going down one more time. And at that point of time, we will try and see that if the price is coming and hitting this particular line, which is the MM of the TR, and then we are bouncing from here, or we are going down to the 5846 to the 5850 area, which is a very strong support right here. I will actually increase the size of this a little bit, and below that we can come to the 5840, the 5830, and to the subsequent levels to the downside. I will actually make a little change in this particular area. This will be the whole support area at this point of time. Let me remove this box and create a new box right here. So that is all that we have on the 4-hour chart. Let us now go and take a look at the 1-hour chart. Now, looking at the 1 hour chart, if we look at the same 4 hour structure, on the 1 hour chart, we actually had the first leg down, we went back up, we had the second leg down, we had another pullback, and then we got the third push down, which created this particular wedge. And after that, we went up. This was the first leg up that happened, and then we came down once again, and this was the second leg that happened. We pulled back once again, and then we had the third leg. Now, after the third leg has happened, if you see, that is at 5914, and we still do not have a single bar that has closed above that 5914 area. So I will mark this particular line right here, and I need to see that a hourly candle is actually closing above this, and then we are hitting this particular sell area right here, after which we will try to see if we are breaking out of this particular sell zone to the upside, and then keep moving to the higher targets that we talked about in the higher time frames. However, we also have a opening gap right here, which may actually keep on being a support all day tomorrow. So now we will have to see if we are breaking down 5907, this being an inside bar. If we are breaking down the 5904 area, you will also notice that this is a II structure, and if we are falling below this 5899.25, which will start another leg down on the 4 hour chart as well. If we are falling below this, then this II structure has failed to the upside, and we may come down to this 5894 area, followed by we will have another support at this 5883 area, and then we can come down to the 70 to the 75 or the 73 areas, and then we will see if we are breaking this down, and then we are coming down to the 53 to the 48 area. We may bounce from here, we may come and touch this wedge line and start bouncing from here again, but if that does not happen, we may actually break down and come to these levels on the downside. But there are a lot of levels that needs to be taken out before the bears are successful in doing that. I do not think that the price is primed enough to do that. If we look at this was the first attempt to break out of the 5914 area. This was the second attempt that happened here. This is the third attempt. We may come down to the 588480 area, or even to the 7374 area one more time, and then start going back up again. That will be the fourth attempt to break out, and that may be actually successful on the fourth attempt. On the hourly chart, this is also a major trend line that we have. So we will have to see if it's coming down to this trend line once again, taking support there and keeps moving back to the upside, or it will break this trend line down now and come and hit this bottom at the 585052 area, which actually was the beginning of the spike. And this is the channel right here, right now. This is the beginning of the channel at the 5875 area. So we may see that the bounce will start happening right from here, from the 5875 area, and price will keep moving up to the 5900s once again. Before we move on to the 5-minute chart, based on all these analysis, we will be back again tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST to discuss the pre-market call. If you want to join the pre-market call, the link to the Google Meet is also given in the description below. Now, if we are looking at the 5-minute chart, we had this opening gap here. We did come below this opening gap. We recovered. We created another opening gap here. We again came below this opening gap, and we have recovered once again. Now, tomorrow morning, we will have to see where the price is opening up. If you are looking at the close of this particular 5-minute chart on as of Friday. Now, if you are looking at the 5-minute chart, how we closed on Friday, you will see that we were in this bearish channel, and finally we did break out of this bearish channel. This was our first leg up. This was our second leg up, but after the second leg up, this bar is not very encouraging, but we did not fall below the 20 EMA yet. So now we will have to come back tomorrow morning and see where the price has opened, or where the price is around 8:45 to 9 o'clock, and then we can make a decision based on which we will decide which way the market may actually sway for the rest of the day tomorrow. Now, on the 5-minute chart, this 5907 area will continue to be an area of support that we have seen. We have seen a lot of movement around this 5907 line up and below it. Below that, we have the next support between the 5903 to the 5901 area. After that, the next support is at the 5898.75. And if we are breaking that down, there's a high possibility we can come down to the 5891 to the 5888 levels. Below that, the next area of support can be at this low at 5886 or the 5884, which happens to the low of Friday. And then we will come to the 5882 area to the 5881 area, which will be the major support. If we are breaking down this major support, there is a high probability that we will come and test somewhere in the 5870s. Now, on the upside, if we are able to get above this 591415 line, we will see if we are able to reach the 5923 to the 25 area. And if we are breaking out of that, our first target will be somewhere near the 33 to the 36 line. Above that, we already know that we have the measured move target between the 4-6 and the 5-0 levels. And if we are able to break out of the 5-0, then the next target will be the 5-9-6-6 area. And after that, we will see somewhere between the 7-2 to the 7-5 area to the upside. And I will have that marked here as well. And if we are breaking out of this, then we will come to the 5-9-8-0 to the 8-4 measured move target. Above that, we can get to the 5-2-9-4 to the 9-6 area, touch that 5-9-9-7 to the 6,002 lines, and then start a pullback from there again. And that will actually complete the 6,000 level that we have been talking about for so long. So that is all the analysis I have for now. As said earlier, I will be coming back again at 8:45 a.m. EST tomorrow morning for the pre-market plan. Till then, have a very good night, everyone. I will finish this video here today, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. Bye.